Hello and welcome to Sim.bc, where right now is around 15:38, about 20 past 3 in the afternoon. And today we're going to talk about branding in an organization. I know, because in an organization, right, structure, branding and organizing is A to Z, right? What? Jerry, what are you saying? We've already done this video? Back in Bordeaux? Was one of the earliest video we did? Oh. Can we just continue? No? Is he already out of ideas? Is he already milking the branding yet again for another video? No, this is of course one of the earliest videos that I made, and I made them in regards to organizations, but today we're going to take a look at branding when it comes to purchasing power. Yeah, mates, you with me? When it comes to purchasing power, when it comes to disposable income, when it comes to, are you showing off some social status by virtue of buying a certain brand? Yeah, that's right. We're not actually talking about you branding yourself, even if we're going to go into that in a small bit, because you are branding yourself when you're buying brands. We're going to talk about a bit about brands, generally, right, without actually mentioning any. But if you are quite interested in branding in organizations, I'm going to link some videos in the description down below for you that you can go and check out. Now, bear in mind that these were some of the more earlier videos that I made, and if you're thinking that these are raw, then well, those were raw, so to say. Those were really one-hit wonders, one take, one go, so to say. But without any further ado, let's get into it. I have much to discuss here. First of all, we talked about 2 days ago with this now, because yesterday I had this in-between video, right, with the update with the light. Yeah, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? But yeah, 2 days ago, since we didn't have that quality of the lighting, I'm just going to recap some of the points. It was basically that if you have changed yourself in the, in your life, during the past 10 years, you've changed yourself in some way, you would like to visually reflect that in how you dress. You want to show other people that you have actually changed. You also want to show off that you have a disposable income that is high enough or great enough for you to actually buy the type of clothes that you're buying. You're wearing some clothes that is in some way in relation to, what you're earning, and your position comes with that. So basically you're buying lots of stuff in order to impress people that you don't care about. Because you can show your house to your friends, you can show your cars to your friends, but chances are that when you're walking around in the mall, people are not going to know what house you're living in. Therefore, most people tend to view clothes and what type of clothing are they wearing, and is this reflecting the person from, have you seen this person before, is this a public person? Depending on if it's a public person, do you have any kind of relationship with this person, but you've never been there to their home, you've never actually talked to them, but you have observe them for a while now, and you see that they have the same type of clothing. That perhaps means that they're having to reflect a change in their lifestyle. That could be that they're content with their lifestyle, they're happy with it, or they just don't bother to change it. They can also say that, well, they had a good disposable income a couple of years ago, they bought lots of clothes, and now they don't anymore. I would like to say that this mindset, right, is actually in the verge of changing. Yes, that is correct. I truly believe that when people see someone walking around in old clothes, they think this is someone who is actually spending their money on something more, worthwhile than clothes. But that was basically the gist of it in the 2 days ago video, talking about power in relation to how you walk around in clothing. But today we're going to go into brands, because what I found really interesting, right, when I was talking with some of my mates over dinner, we discussed the facts that some people buy brands in order to show off to other people, to their mates, to other people just in general, that they have money. They want to be associating this brand with a certain amount of income, they want to show a certain amount of prestige, and that's all fine and good and dandy. Now, what's funny about this is that that's nothing that I actually actively thought about when I was buying clothes, and I don't think neither did they. But when we discussed it and we got down to the nitty-gritty of it, we understood that, well, we want to buy a specific brand of clothes because we want to show off that we have that much money. We want to be associated with this brand because this brand is associated with these types of people. yet again, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know, you want to be part of a group, you want to be part of that social interaction, you know, safety in that you're a group and you're not alone, and you want to show off to other people that you're part of this group. Now, this can be a group of a specific fashionable movement, it can be a group of a specific disposable income, or it could be a group of someone who is changing their lives, you know, in alignment with your life and the changes that you're making, and you want to be part of this group now in the future. That was quite a long, you know, discussing about it, or introduction to it. But branding in itself is quite interesting, because when it comes to branding, right, I generally think about it right now after this discussion that I had, that branding is a way of showing off that you have money. And I know that most people will say, yes, that is the case. But something interesting that I would like to introduce to this is that most people just think about, oh, you're having a brand, that means that, you know, it costed money, right? So, obviously the brand is associated with money and power. But what is quite interesting, that is all relative to what the other people in your social circle is having and is wearing. Because if everybody is wearing, let's say for instance, you know, not a sponsor, let's say for instance that everybody here is having a Ralph Lauren. Everybody's having a Ralph Lauren shirt in my social circle, then that doesn't say anything, doesn't it? I mean, sure, supposed to correlate to this amount of quality, sure, but in my opinion, my personal opinion, an H&M shirt or a Cubus shirt or a shirt from wherever, probably a shirt for 25 crowns or 2.5 euro is perhaps not as good, but very closely equally as good to a shirt that costs 500 euro. In my own opinion, that's my experience with clothes, right? I might have used the wrong brands, I might have used the right brands, but that's my experience with it. So the basis of why you're buying a branded shirt is basically because you want to show off the brand, right? You're buying the brand, something that we talked about when we talked about, you know, Apple as well, the Apple products. You're buying the brand. It's a certain amount of markup that's going on to that piece of clothing just because the brand is there. But that's all, yet again, as I said, relative. Let's say that, as I said, we're all having a Ralph Lauren. Now, me having a brand doesn't say anything. What was quite interesting to me is that I was introduced to the idea that there are some Ralph Lauren shirts, or I'm not going to say Ralph Lauren shirts, but there are some brands that have introduced the next step of branding, so to say, where they're hiding their brand. And many of you will be like, well, that's a bit weird, since you just said that you're buying the brand in relation to other people so that they see it. Well, of course that is the case, but let's say everybody here is having the same brand, Ralph Lauren. Then it might be more differentiated for me saying that, well, I bought a shirt without the brand on it, but it is a Ralph Lauren. It costed more because, you know, I don't have to have the logo on it. And everybody in my social circle accepts that because they say, well, that's okay because we already expect you to have this type of brand on you at any time because we know that you're in this disposable income category. So, and that also turns over that when you're walking outside with your mates, right, all of them are having fancy clothes and you having fancy clothes as well, but without the logo on it. People will still assume that you're very rich, and they will assume your disposable income being perhaps much higher than your mates actually, just because, yet again, you're differentiated from the group. So that's like the next step. First you want to have a specific brand because you want to be part of a group. And now you want to have a different brand, or the same brand, or a different way of showing that brand, maybe without showing it, because everybody in the group is already assuming, right? And that's the key word here, assuming that you're having it. Everybody's assuming your disposable income is high enough, so they're assuming that whatever you're wearing, it's going to be a brand, and you choosing not to show that brand might actually be more worth than actually showing off the brand. And this was something that I was like, this is crazy talk, right? That can't be true. But if you are in this social situation where everybody knows that you're having a certain amount of brands, you're having a certain brand, everybody's wearing the same or different brands, but everybody's wearing brands of the same amount of quality, and you're coming in with a shirt that doesn't have that brand on it or that level of brand, people are going to be like, in the beginning, right? That's interesting, or that's weird. You're kind of sticking out there. But then as they ask you about it, and you saying, well, it's one of those, you know, it's the same as you have, but I don't have to show the logo because I feel like I don't have to. That's you establishing yourself as higher than the other people in the group, in my opinion, right? Because what you're basically saying at that point is that I know that people are going to assume my disposable income is higher than yours, so I don't have to show it off, because people will know that I'm having this certain amount of quality anyway. That was a fun, kind of a fun fact that we were I'm saying a fun fact. It was more of a fun, story that really rich people are walking around in really shitty clothes or really cheap clothes. And why is this the case? Well, basically, if you're looking at like the most, the people with the highest income in the world, the top percent of the world, many of them will be dressed from, feet to teeth with like the most pristine, best clothes you can find. Some of them, however, will just be dressed in whatever they feel like. They can go around in whatever, the same as me. And everybody's still gonna, know that they don't have to buy the fancy clothes in order to show off their purchasing power, because we all know that they have this power anyway. So you can say that it's an extra level of arrogance, you can say it's acceptance, because you can say it's arrogant to wear a brand just to show off your purchasing power, but when you don't have to show off your brand anymore, that's yet another level of arrogance, mate, because then you're actually saying I'm outside of the game. And that's basically what I meant with, you're saying that all of your mates are wearing the same brand, well, and then you're rolling around with a hidden brand, but of the same, like with a shirt with a hidden brand, but it's still a shirt of the same brand as all of your mates. That's yet again rolling you out, the double arrogance, rolling you over to the next level. And this is something yet again that I thought was worth a discussion, and I would love to see your comments on it below. This is just my take on it, or my discussion that I had with my mates about it. But I felt that it was quite interesting that some people actually choose not to show the logo of the brand, even though they started to buy the shirts or the pants or the boots because of that brand. And now they're saying to their mates, I'm above you all, I don't need to show it anymore. Or you're in a social circle, well, nobody has it, and it's extremely good to show off the brand, to show that you have this pristine quality, showing off your purchasing power, showing off your disposable income. That's also something that has to do with brands, which is more like in the level I am at, where it's like cool to have a brand. But I know that there are, and like I have mates in other social circles, like I have these different social circles I'm dipping my toes in, right? And in some of them, it's really cool not showing a brand. In some of them, it's really cool showing a brand. So it's really awesome seeing these different levels of social interaction when it comes to brands. Because, yet again, as I mentioned shortly in the beginning, when you're wearing something, you're branding yourself. Right? And that's what I've been talking about as well. Going outside the group, you're branding yourself as maybe better than them. Being a part of the group, you're branding yourself as being a part of the group. And wanting to be part of the group, you're trying to penetrate the group and get in. That's also yourself branding yourself in order to get in there. So that was everything for me today, mates. I'm going to talk a bit about, just give me a second because I have it here, dress codes in different workplaces. Yes, indeed. Well, it's gonna be the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow it's New Year's Eve! Woohoo! I know, right? It's gonna be well good. It's gonna be amazing, mates. I have something special in store for you. So have a nice one, and I'll see you, well, I'm gonna see you tomorrow on New Year's Eve. Have a good one.